Hello family, so today this is your first day doing math, but I want you to understand that I know the picture on the screen is scary, but maths is easy. So just tell yourself that maths is easy. Maths is not difficult. Maths is very easy, and so you're gonna see it. So relax. Maths is gonna be very easy. So I want us to start with the very first topic of math. This is a no-brainer, you're gonna get it. So the very first topic of mathematics is called number. Yeah, number, just that. So we're going to be talking about the different types of numbers that we have, and you're going to see it. It's going to be very easy. Okay, let's go. So there are different types of numbers. You know there are different types of shapes, right? We have rectangles, we have triangles, we have circles. There are different types of shapes. Just the very same way we have different types of numbers. So we have natural numbers, we have integers, we have rational numbers, we have irrational numbers, we have real numbers, we have prime numbers, we have square numbers, we have cube numbers, we have common numbers. Oh, I'm tired. Okay. We have prime numbers, we have multiples, we have reciprocals. So I know this is like a lot of numbers, but most of these things you already know it. You do it every day, but you just don't know that's what you're doing. You just don't know that's the numbers that you're dealing with. So it's nothing new. Don't sweat. Don't feel like, oh, this is something new that we're going to learn today. No, it's not. It's something that you already know. So there are different types of numbers. So we want to start by looking at natural numbers. Okay, so okay, so natural numbers. Imagine counting the numbers of players in a soccer team. So you start from number 1, the goalkeeper, up to number 11. Look at my super team, my dream team right there. So if you can look at this dream team right there, you can see that you can count them and say number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, plus number 12, the extra sub, right? So these are counting numbers. You start from counting from 1, right? These are counting numbers. You don't start counting from 0. If I ask you how many players are on this picture, you'd obviously tell me there are 12 players, 11 players who are going to be playing, and 1 sub. So this is what we call natural numbers. Okay, so natural numbers are positive numbers from 1 that we use for counting. Now let's look at integers. Now I don't know if you're familiar with this number line, but I'm sure you have heard that if it's very cold, it can be maybe 5 degrees Celsius or 1 degree Celsius. If it keeps getting colder, it can get to 0 degrees Celsius where freezing starts. Right, it's called freezing point, where if things they have to freeze, they have to get to 0 degrees first, and then if the temperature goes below that, if it keeps getting cold, you now say it's -1, -2, and it keeps going on and on, -3, -4, -5. So that's what we call the number line. It is positive numbers to the right here, and then negative numbers to the left here. So 0 is what we call the origin or the midpoint. So when we're looking at integers, we're looking at all these negative numbers and all these positive numbers. So integers include natural numbers, it includes 0, it includes positive numbers. So natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going on and on and on. And then negative numbers are -1, -2, -3, going to the negative side. So integers includes all these negative numbers and 0 and all these positive numbers. That's what integers do. So think of a temperature in degrees Celsius, right? So Harare's temperature can be -2 degrees in winter, right? So it will be -2, means 0 is where it is very cold, that things can start to freeze, but it can also get even colder and gets to -2. I don't know, do we ever get -2 in Harare? I'm not sure, but you get the point. So if it's cold, the temperature can go to the negatives. So for example, integers, I've been telling you -3, -2, -1, we can get to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's integers for you. So if you need to pause and just like really get into it and see what we are talking about, feel free to pause. The video is yours, and you can do that. Then we have what we call rational numbers. I'm sure like this boy, and I remember when we used to, I grew up in the all my life I've lived, basically I can just say basically almost all my life I've lived in places where they sold half breads, half loaf. So I don't know where you grew up, but like where I grew up, they sell half loaf, so you can literally go to the shop and say I want half bread. So rational numbers can be expressed as fractions. So if you, let's say 0.5, right, it can be expressed as half. So you can say I want 0.5 of a loaf, or I want half of a loaf. It just means the same thing. So 0.5 can be expressed as a fraction. Fractions are numbers with this one on top and one below. So 0.5 is the same thing as say half. 0.75 is the same thing as saying 4/3. So they can be expressed as fractions. They can also be negative. So negative 0.5 is also minus 1/2. Okay, so we now want to look at irrational numbers. So we have talked about rational numbers, right? And we said rational numbers can be expressed as simple fractions like 1/2, 3/4, right? So irrational numbers are special kinds of numbers that cannot be expressed as 1/2. So I don't know if you're familiar with square roots, but we will do it. Like if you keep watching these videos, we'll get there. But if you punch on your calculator square root of 2, the answer that you get is 1.41421, and it keeps going on and on and on. It does not end, and the numbers keep changing. These numbers, you cannot express them as a fraction. So these are called irrational numbers because you cannot express them as a fraction. All right, moving on swiftly. Then we have what we call real numbers. I don't mean Real Madrid, guys. I know you are fans. I know some of you are fans of Real Madrid, but I'm not talking about Real Madrid. I'm talking about real numbers. So basically, when we're looking at real numbers, we're talking about all numbers, basically all rational and irrational numbers. But as you see as we go onwards, we're going to be using number expressions like 3x plus 2x. I'm sure you've seen maths like that, right? These the x is called an imaginary unit. So if it's 3x, then it's not a real number because there's something that you are imagining here. This x is not, you don't know what it is you're imagining, that there is a number here. So basically real numbers are all the other numbers except these numbers like 3x, 4x, where there is an imaginary letter number that we are representing or showing using a letter. Then we have prime numbers. Prime numbers, okay guys, okay, I know you like pictures, but I didn't have a picture for this one. Let's move on. Let's just get over it. Anyway, so prime numbers are numbers that have only two factors, 1 and itself. So when I say 10, that factors of 10 are all the numbers that can get into 10 without leaving a remainder. So if you say 5, 10 divided by 5, you get 2. There is no remainder. If you say 10 divided by 2, you get 5. There is no remainder. If you say, so you already see that there are two numbers. 2 can get into 10, 5 can get into 10. 1 into 10 is 10. So we already have 3 numbers that can get into 10. So these 3 numbers are called factors of 10. Means they are numbers that can get into 10 without leaving a remainder. But here we want to talk about prime numbers. Now I don't even know why I was talking about factors. So prime numbers are numbers that only have 2 factors. Oh, I understand why I was talking about factors. Prime numbers are numbers that only have 2 factors. So 10 cannot be a prime number because 2 can get into 10, 5 can get into 10, 1 can get into 10. But prime numbers are numbers that only has two factors, which is 1 and itself. 3 is a prime number because the only number that can get into 3 without leaving a remainder is 1 and the 3. You cannot say 2 into 3, it does not work, it will leave a remainder. 5 is a prime number. The only two numbers that can get into 5 without leaving a remainder is 1 and 5. 1 into 5 is 5, 5 into 5 is 1, but you cannot say 2 into 5, it will leave a remainder. 3 into 5, it will leave a remainder. So numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 are called prime numbers. They only have two factors, 1 and itself, and that number. Then we want to look at square numbers. I don't know if you guys watched SpongeBob as you were growing up, but I grew up on SpongeBob SquarePants. Anyway, square numbers are the results of multiplying a number by itself. So if you say 1 times 1, the number that you get is called a square number. If you say 2 times 2, 4 is a square number, because these are numbers that you get when you multiply a number by itself. So if you multiply 2 by 2, 4 is a square number. 9 is a square number because to get 9 you say 3 times 3. That's what square numbers are. So we can also write our square numbers as 1 squared. So this one here, you can write it as 1 squared. 1 times 1 is equals to 1, or it's 1 squared, because 1 squared just means 1 times 1. 2 times 2 is equals to 4, or you can write it as 2 squared. 2 squared just means 2 times 2, so that also is the same thing as saying 4. So 2 squared and 4 are the same thing. 3 squared and 9 are also the same thing. Moving on swiftly. Let's look at cube numbers. No, I don't mean Ice Cube. I know we have an Ice Cube picture. And by the way, if you don't know who Ice Cube is, I don't know under which rock are you staying. Guys, come on. But anyway, we want to look at cube numbers. So a cube number is when you just multiply a number by itself two times. So if you say 1 times 1, that's the first time. And then you say times 1 again, that's the second time. The answer that you get is called a cube number. So you do this 1 times 1 times 1, that's 1. 1 is a cube number. 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 8 is a cube number. 3 times 3 times 3, 27. 27 is a cube number. We can also write 1 times 1 times 1 is also written as 1 to the power 3. We are saying we have 1. This 3 means these ones, we have 3 of these ones multiplying. So 1 squared is just the same as 1. 1 to the power of 3, not squared, to the power of 3. 1 cubed is just the same as 1. 2 cubed, or 2 to the power of 3, is just the same as saying 8, or 2 times 2 times 2. It's just the same thing, just writing it differently. I hope you guys got that part. Now I will let you go back to the video that you are watching. Cheers. Peace. Now let's look at common factors. I used to watch this this show on MTV called Fear Factor. I don't know if you guys used to watch it, but it was like really scary. I used to watch it like a very long time ago. I don't know now if it's still showing on the on MTV and stuff, but I used to watch it. It was very fun. People would have to carry snakes and get into like buckets with snails and like all this gross and like just stuff that you don't want to do. It was a good show. You should check it out. So common factors are numbers that divide another number exactly without leaving a remainder. So if 2 can get into 12 6 times, right? 2 into 12 is 6. So you have divided this 2, it can get into 12 6 times without leaving a remainder. 1 into 12 is 12, there is no remainder. 3 into 12 is 4, there is no remainder. 4 into 12 is 3, there is no remainder. 6 into 12 is 2, there is no remainder. 12 into 12 is 1, there is no remainder. So factors are numbers that divide another number exactly without leaving a remainder. So common factors now are factors that are shared by 2 or more numbers. So let's say we take 12 and 18. 1 is a factor of 18 and 12. 2 is also a factor of 18 and 12. It gets into 12 6 times without leaving a remainder. It gets into 12 9 times without leaving a remainder. 3 can get into 12 4 times without leaving a remainder. 3 can get into 18, 6 times without leaving a remainder. So 1, 3, 2, and 6, they are common factors because they are both factors of 12 and also they are factors of 18. Moving on swiftly. Now we want to look at prime factors. So prime factors are just basically factors that are prime numbers. So we said prime factors are just factors which are prime numbers. So for example, factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So you look at these numbers, which is the prime number of all of these numbers? 1 is not a prime number because it's only divided by one number. We said prime numbers, they are divided by two numbers, 1 and itself. 2 is a prime number, right? Because 2 can be divided by 1 and itself, the 2 only. So 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, but 6 is not a prime number. Because 2 can get into 6, 3 can get into 6, 1 can get into 6, 6 can get into 6. So, which is a prime factor? 3 is a prime factor. Another prime factor is 2. Now, let's look at reciprocals. So, it's just flipping, it's just like putting 1 on top of the number. So, 4, the reciprocal of 4 is 1 over 4. The reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2. That's just what reciprocal means. It means whatever number that you're given, if you're asked to find the reciprocal, it's just 1 over that number. Okay guys, I have to love you and leave you. It was amazing. So you guys, I want you to go and watch this over and over and over and over and over again. It's going to help you to really get what we are trying to do here. Okay, until next time, peace. This is what, okay fine, I'll talk to you about this later. Bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Just tell people who want to pass to just subscribe. It's easy. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe. Okay, peace. Bye.